Hi everyone. So in this video we will cover high order component and custom hooks. If you are working on production level project in React, then these design patterns are very important. So design patterns like custom hooks, render props, and HOCs. So mostly during writing functional component, people don't use too much HOCs, but it's very useful if we are writing scalable code. Mostly I use custom hooks. I don't use HOC. Mostly I use custom hooks, but I will explain also so you can use and what are the benefits of using individual patterns. In simple, you can understand like these HOCs are functions that take a component and return new enhanced component. Means we have one function which taking another component. You can understand like this, that we have one function which take another component as an argument and add some power or enhanced in that component and return enhanced version of that component. And custom hooks also are function, but in custom hooks what we do, we extract reusable logic. If we have just like 3 or 4 or 5 lines that we are using everywhere in our code, so we can put those lines of code in custom hooks. So we extract reusable logic using hooks inside the function. So in custom hooks, we can use hooks, React hooks, that is predefined. And I think render props, render props component that share a logic via function props. Means what we are doing, we are passing children component to function logics and using in children component. We will understand with example. This is my simple application, React application that we will use for understanding. There is no strong nomenclature, but for best practice, we should use with keyword before giving name. I'm giving folder. You can give HOC or folder name utils. Okay, and inside it, I'm giving component HOC name with example. So you can give any name, but for best practice, we should give name with keyword. So this is your component where we will make HOC. Let's give function with example. This function will take a component as an argument. So component as an argument, and we will do some enhancement in this component and return this component of the enhancement. Return function enhanced component and return this component. This is our HOC, simple HOC. So what we will do, we will do some magic here for enhancement. Magic for some enhancement, or you can say logic for some enhancement. You can write logic for enhancement. So this function will take a props, and we can also pass those props here. Now let's inject some extra props in this component. Const new props name John and John developer name is okay. What are these errors? Okay, so we can pass this prop also here. So this is simple inject. We are injecting new props in this component. Here we can also write some logics, just like authentication logics, and we can use this component, this enhanced component in any other HOC. Now I want to use that HOC here, or you. So export. I need to export this. You can do name export or as well as default export as per your choice. I will solve this later. So now let's use this HOC. So how we can use this HOC? This is our demo. So here we will use import with example from here, and we have to give another component for inside it. So const HOC example SOC component, and with the example, and we are giving another component. Just let's assuming that another component is greeting, and now we have to make this greeting component. So new file greeting.js and rf this greeting taking name, job, or any argument whichever you pass, and we are name and you can also give, this is for example, don't think that my HTML is bad, so this is for example job, and I'm not writing semantic elements, but this is for understanding. And we have to import greeting from here. Import this is how you can use. So this is how you can use. So this is not giving props. Wait, I'm checking. So let's check with example. So here we are taking okay, we have to give this name in capital letter. So I think this is better. Okay, so this is good only. Okay, this is how we can use this HOC, and here we can also give logics, and this just like authentication. Is user authenticate, then we have to render this component, and if not, then we have to backsend on login page. So now we have completed HOC in example. This is all, and things that you have to understand is why we use HOC. So main reason is instead of copying logic into many components, just like authentication check, data fetching, and logging, we can put that logic into one HOC and wrap any component that need it. And second thing is why we don't use much HOCs in functional component, because using use ref is tricky in HOC. And one more thing, this debugging, just like if we have nested HOCs, another nested HOC component here, then debugging is hard. So that's why we don't use, means I don't use too much. Okay, so we will go on custom hooks. So we have use example. So first thing that you have to remember that when and where we should use custom hooks. So custom hooks are simple JavaScript function, but when we have some logic, just like we want to use this logic, we have 3 logics and 4 logics, and we want to use those logics many times in our code. At that time we can use custom hooks, and this is also mentioned in React documentation. While using custom hooks, we should give name, use prefix. And next thing that we have to remember, this is just like we use React hooks. React also provide the hooks, but that hooks may not be fulfill everyone requirements use cases, so we use custom hooks. Now the things that you have to remember during custom hooks, then where you should use custom hooks. First thing that you should return a data. If you are making custom hooks, then you should return data, not a JSX. Means JSX won't be work. It will only work in JSX component. And second thing is, remember that while using custom hooks, you can also use React by default provided hooks, just like use state or any hooks that is provided by you React. And the third things where we should use custom hooks. So just like where we are using use effect in our functional component, and we are dealing with external things which is not related to React domain, just like DOM related things. This is thing that you have to remember while making custom hooks. Also you can put debounce logic in custom hooks. So first we will go a simple example, fetch API, how we can use and put a fetch API logic in custom hooks that we will use in several components. Okay, let's give it a use fetch. Yeah, use fetch. And what we will do, understand, we will take URL, we will make HTTP request on that URL, and we will provide the data to user. So we will fetch the data from that URL while making HTTP request, and we will send the data to we will return the data. Now function use fetch, it will take URL. And so first thing, what we will return from this use fetch function, first thing is data. So we are setting const data and set data currently is null, we don't have any data. Let's import user state. Now next thing what we have to do, one more variable that we have to pass is loading. So whenever component is mount, loading true, and when API fetch, loading false, and when API data fetch successfully, at that time we will do loading false. So loading and set loading currently is true. And third is how we will handle errors. So this is how we will handle errors. And I already told you that in our custom hooks we can use React default hooks or pre-defined hooks. So the use effect, this is use effect, and where our logic will start. So fetch URL, this will give us a response. So we are converting that response in JSON, and after getting data, set data is true. And also we can do some like whenever data set data is true, at that time we can also pass loading is false. Set data, and we can put and also one more thing that we can pass as set loading false. So one more improvement we can do, when use effect will run, at that time we can do mounting is true. So we can make a mount, let's mount is true. And at the time of data, when we are fetching, here we are making HTTP request and we are getting response, and we are converting that response in JSON. When we are getting data, and we are setting set data is data and set loading is false. And at this time, if mount is true, then we are doing all this stuff. And in case error, if mount is true, then we are doing. And one more thing, this use effect also have cleanup return function. So here we are passing cleanup return function. So use effect how to use. This is dependency array. So whenever URL changes, this use effect will rerun. So this is how we can make, and we can pass this data in other components. I hope you can able to understand. You can use unmount, but don't use this in production level, because it does not cancel the fetch request. It's only preventing to set data production level. This is not best practice, because this fetch API is still running. It does not cancel this fetch network API, so it's still running. We can use other solution on production level, just like a boot controller. So when you call fetch URL, the browser create a network request and send to server. I'm talking about this browser. Send to server, and it wait for response, and then process response. So it happen inside the browser networking layer. It's happen here, not inside React. So once a request is sent, it's already on way to server, and server is processing it. The browser is waiting, and React has zero control over that. So this is problem. If you want, I can make another video on that. So do you know what happen if we use in production level those kind of silly code? Just like for example, we you order food, you you order food you order food online, and means you making fetch request. So here we are placing order. Now is mounted is true, it means is mounted is false, means you close the app. You false means you close the app, or order you close the app. So did the restaurant stop cooking? No, the order is already placed. The only thing that changed, you are not longer there to receive it. So this kind of problem you can face. So now let's go to our third render props. So that is very simple. Wait, why is showing red? Use import to use effect. Okay, got it. This video will go too much long. I will explain render props in next video. So thanks for watching.